Welcome back to Football Fun Dates, and we're going to talk about some more FPL action. In this episode, we're going to cover budget picks, your budget keepers, defenders, midfielders, and forwards. We're going to get straight into this episode with Kern's first pick as keeper.
So for me, keepers, there's only three keepers that can start and that have a 4.5 or lower value. Two of them are obviously, Matt Ryan and McCarthy. My pick is McCarthy, just because I have more faith in Southampton for some reason. I just think they had better performances post than 9-0 and essentially post lockdown. So for me, McCarthy there. If also we just look at last season's stats, Ryan does have more points, saves, bonus points, all of that. But points per game, McCarthy is more because McCarthy started as a second in command. So for me, McCarthy takes the edge in budget keepers. And in fact, he's my keeper pick in general.
Yeah, so we've also guys done our episode of the FPL draft where we both compared our drafts alongside each other's draft, and our keeper picks were similar, but we had interesting differences going into the defense and the midfield. Coming back to the keeper, though, it is interesting in terms of how you strategize your team. There are people who prefer having two playing keepers, not even like a 5 and a 4.5, two 4.5 keepers, like having Ryan and McCarthy. That's what I've done in my draft so far. But I intend to just go for maybe a McCarthy and a Button or Ryan and a Button and just doubling down there on one side and keeping that 0.5 for my midfielder. Another option here people are not considering too much and we should be is Martinez, Arsenal keeper. He is at 4.5. He did start the Community Shield game. We don't want to read too much into that, but hey, if he's giving a Leno a run for the money in training right now, and if he is starting, a keeper from a traditional top 6 would be definitely one to look out for, right? A good, cheap way into a clean sheets, right? And they seem to be more solid than they did last year when Unai Emery was in charge. Moving on to your defenders, Kern.
Defenders is actually quite a few 4.5 picks out there, surprisingly. You obviously have the Leeds fullbacks, who a lot of people are looking at, Dallas and Ayling. Dallas is more of an out of position winger, so he gives those more attacking returns, but Ayling has started more games for Leeds. So between the two, it depends on what sort of approach you're going to take, whether you're happy to take that risk or not, or whether you want a short starter. But my apprehension towards Leeds in general is their fixtures, their first few fixtures are really tough.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning more towards Vinagre. Obviously, I think he's there in almost every single draft that I've seen.
Let's not forget, Wolves had one of the most solid defenders last year, right? We had Ruben Says in everyone's team. Doherty has now moved on to Spurs and is a little expensive, so we won't talk about him. Says also is at 5.0 right now, which is not too expensive. But when you have Vinagre, who is going to be playing by the way that they're not signed a replacement for Johnny, who's going to be injured for a while.
Yeah, my problem though with Wolves, and I'm also going to link this to James Justin, who's the other 4.5 pick over at Leicester, another fullback, offering great defensive cover for Pereira, who's injured. Both these defenses now, with Chilwell gone and with Doherty gone over here, plus Leicester start with Evans suspended, I'm a little wary of their clean sheet potentials, just a bit because of that. But having said all of that, I mean, it's 4.5 at the end of the day, right? At 4.5, you can't have any guaranteed clean sheets week in, week out. So to have a Leicester and Wolves pair almost guaranteed starters at 4.5, which you can rate it, I think offers great value. And the only other player that I'm going to give a mention to, who's in my team right now, is Lamptey. Just because he passed my eye test, he was playing
but
great.
You just said Brighton don't have the best fixtures. Also, we're not going to cover our whole defense. We're not going to talk about trends in this episode. So if you wanted to go for a 4.5 with a better fixture, wouldn't you then consider maybe even Lascelles?
Lascelles has injury trouble, so I'm going to keep an eye on his minutes. I'm not sure if he's going to start the first couple of games in the season, so that's my issue with Lascelles. Otherwise, obviously, great option there, captain of Newcastle, right? So he's guaranteed starter when he's fit, and all of those things bode really well for him. Lamptey just stood out. Like when I saw him play last season, towards the end when Brighton were playing really attacking football, I saw him and right then I put it down on my notes, Lamptey for next season. So just for that, I'm like, let me back myself here and let me just go with it.
One player we
And
both
it's
have in our
also.
one player we both have in our teams, Charlie Taylor. Burnley 4.5 again, almost a no-brainer. Burnley do have a tight defense. It's not just with Pope last year. Historically, they've been having good defensive performances. Week in, week out, they're giving the big boys a run for their money, right? Is there a little worry though, where you have the players coming back fit and someone challenging him for that position? I think
Yeah,
Peters or
Peters. So
Bardsley is on
Peters
the
and
other side, right?
Yeah, so Peters and Taylor fight for the left back position. Obviously, if you get a Burnley defender at 4.5, it's great value into a team that is almost guaranteed clean sheets. When you look at defenses, you look at traditionally what teams would give those clean sheets. So it's a great option. I might honestly though switch to, I already have switched to Tarkowski rather. I want my more guaranteed. So where I'm spending my money in defense is Trent and Burnley. So I'm going to look for my options there. So I'm going to hold
And
back on my cheap options.
And the last option I think that we can consider here on a serious note would be Walker Peters. He did show even against Manchester United in the game they played the 2-2 draw, right? He was looking solid. He is going to be a starter. The reason why I didn't take him was because I was still not sure if I wanted McCarthy and and Walker Peters in my team. But I think if I do drop out McCarthy, I might just take Walker Peters in maybe for Lascelles, like you mentioned. What do you think?
Yeah, hit the nail on the head. If you don't have McCarthy, get Walker Peters. One of those two is essential because Southampton have a great run of fixtures, great opportunity. So one of those two. If
And
you don't have
also
one,
the
take the other.
way I would tell you to set a defense is that it is not too bad to have a 4.0 defender as well. There are not a lot of players who we see are going to start in that this year, but maybe it's wise to still consider that and just let that player be on your bench. Maybe they do play. I think Brathwaite is one of them at Everton, right?
Yeah, I
Moving
think
on.
my eye on the 4.0 is Ferguson at Crystal Palace. Lots of people are saying he can be the next Aaron Van Bissaka for them. So he's not in my team now, but he's on my
I had him
even
in
as
my
well.
first draft, but he got injured the very next day, so I just switched him out. But okay, moving to midfield, and I'm going to talk about one player who I think will definitely consider, who was on a hot streak last year of sort, but has an alternative in his team itself, Saint Maximin. And the alternative I would probably look at would be
Matt
Matt
Ritchie.
Ritchie because it's 5.5 and 5. Matt Ritchie being someone who we saw on free kicks.
Yeah, Matt Ritchie obviously orders set piece opportunities, but Maximin just seemed explosive. One of the approaches that I'm taking this season is to look at the talisman from each team, which I think so far one of the FPL managers who's finished 7 times in the top 10K or top 1000 in the last 10 years. Phenomenal results anyway. He looks at the talisman person in each team. And Saint Maximin is that guy in Newcastle. So forget budgets. If you were to look at returns from that Newcastle team, it would be Saint Maximin. And
We're
to
talking
get
about
that at
that
5.
Nani-esque, Ronaldo-esque flair you're saying in the style of
Yeah.
play.
No, the whole so his logic on the talisman player is which player in each team will give you the maximum points.
Of
As simple.
course.
So for
Of
example,
course,
if you
of
look
course.
at Liverpool, Salah, blah blah blah, all of that, right? So when you look at Newcastle, the player who will give you the maximum points in general will be Saint Maximin, and that he's a budget option makes it a no-brainer for me. Yes, Richie offers great option in terms of set pieces, but Maximin, as I said, just a talisman player, in general offer more points over the course of this year, so it seems. So he's my pick of the two.
Yeah, just want to share with you guys again that what we will be doing is we will be putting the link to our old video here so you can see our first drafts of the players we've gone for so far. Moving on from Saint Maximin, what about Suchek? A lot of
He
people,
is.
a lot of people have been talking. Players have gone for him, FPL players, but not as high as you'd expect. He's at 5.0. What do you think?
My only problem is fixtures. They have Newcastle at home first game, but then after that, Arsenal away, Wolves home, Leicester away, Tottenham away, City home, Liverpool away. So that is not a run of fixtures that I unfortunately see West Ham doing too well in. Having said that, he's priced at 5. So at that price point with set pieces coming in, uh, he's not going to be someone who's starting for you week in, week out, right?
Of
So,
course, and plus,
uh,
though, but the way I see it is, if I compose my team where I go for 2 premium midfielders, 1 8+ midfielder, and have those 2 other spots left, why would I not just go for Matt Ritchie in the start at 5.0, right? Like we just discussed.
yeah. Yeah. Where I do find value, Annie, is Matheus Pereira for West Brom. And, obviously a lot of people are looking at newly promoted teams to see where the value lies there. And Pereira is priced at 6. He got 8 goals and 16 assists for West Brom. He was on loan, and securing him again for this season was the primary thing for West Brom, and they've done it. And I think as soon as that happened, every manager got him in because he wasn't there when FPL went live.
Yep.
But as soon as he came in, every manager sort of getting in. I think that's my value midfield budget pick for me is Pereira. That's the one for me.
How about Bakayo Saka? 5.5. Looks like he's starting a few games as of now. Pepe maybe was injured, maybe was in quarantine. We're not sure yet in the Community Shield game. But at 5.5, the minutes he got towards second half of last season, no brainer again, right? He sits on your bench.
Sits on your bench, yes. My only thing is with the value that someone like a Maximin and Pereira can give with guaranteed starts. Is my only thing. Saka has obviously proved himself to be very pivotal to Arteta. He's sort of become one of Arteta's main guys, his youth players. But because of the likes of Pepe and now Willian, I don't see him getting as many minutes. Saka offers great value because a great attacking asset in a team that's looking to do well this season. But I just have more minutes coming in from other places. If those places don't give me the points, then Saka might be the differential option as such to just come in from the bench every now and again for me. As of now, no though.
Yeah, so I have Saka in my team in case anybody was wondering. I know you're not, so I'm going to move on. You guys are rude. I think there's one player less who we should talk about since we've covered Southampton keeper, Southampton defender, would be Armstrong.
Yeah. Again, man, Southampton just offer great value, right? You see,
tempting
you saw them
options.
play really well. Yeah, lots of great value options, and their fixture list, Annie, Crystal Palace away, chalo, Tottenham home, not that great. But then Burnley away, West Brom home, okay, Chelsea away, but then Everton home, Villa away, Newcastle home. It's just sea of greens. And again, at the value that they're coming in, and the team who's played well. I think since their 9-0 loss to Leicester, I think they took more points than Wolves in that run, which is incredible, right? And now they didn't have as short a mid-season as the others had, so they'll come sort of a little more energized. The fixtures are there for them to be taking. So Redmond, Armstrong, Ward-Prowse even.
Yeah, I would say Redmond still at 6.5, maybe a little bit out.
Yeah.
But Ward-Prowse 5.5 to 6.5 difference. Again, set piece opportunity maybe.
Yeah.
So interesting one to keep an eye on. And the last midfielder I'll talk about here, Kern, is Sander Berge. A lot of FPL managers will be wondering why not Lundstram. The way we saw Lundstram having a good season last year, the first half at least. But he trailed off because of injuries and was rotated out because of Sander Berge. And even when he was fit again, he was kind of kept on sidelines. Also, Sander Berge is at 5.0. We do anticipate, by we mean both of us here at least, anticipate him to start. So I think it's not a bad option to look at. Also, Sheffield we've seen as a well-oiled unit, right? So if he plays the same way they're playing last year, he can get you those assists.
He's been doing well in preseason as well. They played 2 games. I think first one he got an assist. Great value, 5.0. Yeah, why not? Worth the punt for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's
better than Souček for me at this point of time.
So guys, it's obviously we don't have a bias against Souček, or I don't at least. Kern does have him in his team still. It's just that it all depends on how you strategize for this FPL season. Do you want to make it your first 2 game weeks or wildcard? How do you want to use all of that, right? So we leave you to it over there. These are just our opinions. Kern, I'm going to move it straight to the forwards now. And my first pick, which I have taken in my team, 6.0 Mitrovic.
Yeah, I have Mitrovic in my team as well. I think he's my pick of the attacking assets from the teams that have been promoted. Great stats for him in the championship coming in. Has Premier League experience as well. Sort of always a little better. He's in. I'm not good. I'm not saying that when he was in the Premier League he was prolific or anything,
Right.
but just seeing the others. If you compare him to the likes of Bamford, who at first I was, a little excited about 16 goals, 2 assists in the
Yep. Yep.
championship for Leeds.
Yep.
But just seeing how the Leeds fans had reacted to FPL posts about Bamford, some of them were just like laughing about it. Clearly, they're not that convinced by him. Obviously, he has that cult status at Leeds, but I don't think it's going to take a while for him to, I think, to have the Premier League mentality.
Yeah,
Plus,
but
Rodrigo's coming in as well, right?
if you're looking at simply just saving 0.5 and keeping him on your bench and go with 2 strikers, Bamford is not a bad pick to have on a bench because he will be starting at least, right? So he's guaranteed to get you some points, worst case when you need it.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, Mitrovic is better because as I was saying, right, like Leeds
Rodrigo.
have got Rodrigo in, so I'm not sure right now how many minutes is Bamford guaranteed. So I want to see how that plays out. Till then, Mitrovic is guaranteed start a great form in the championship. So
Since you
no brainer.
mentioned Rodrigo already, I'm going to let you continue. 6.2 again. I am not
I
convinced.
think his goal scoring stats in Spain and not those great. Single digit figures for consecutive seasons. Not very convinced. Especially going to come into a new league with a promoted side who themselves will find it in the new league. Obviously, Biesler is a great manager. I'm sure it'll be easier for them in that regard because they have such a great manager. But having said all of that, I'm not going to jump on that wagon yet.
Back to Southampton. They have one more player here again, Jay Adams. Not a great first half again of last season. Did just about enough to convince you or convince the FPL managers that this is what the talk was about last season. I think he had about 4 goals and 4 assists since the restart.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you don't have the money for Ings, go for Adams because Southampton didn't start with a setup for 2 strikers, but now Hansen Huttle has moved towards it. He seems more favorable for it, and I think he's going to try it more this season. So Adams then provides great opportunity, and for the 789th time this video, Southampton have great fixtures to start the league. So why not? Especially at these price points, I think offers great value.
And one player we should look at because he has been a good goal scoring record or does have it for Burnley, Ashley Barnes.
Yeah, when offers great. But for me, I don't look at Burnley for scoring goals, right? I'm looking at them at the other end. So with the likes of the Che Adams and the Mitrovic and these other more explosive assets available, I'd concentrate at looking at the backline for Burnley.
So that's it for this episode of our FPL Roundup. We've covered all the budget picks we possibly could to go along with your premium midfielders, premium forwards. I don't think there are any premium forwards, guys. 10.5 for Kane and Aguero is a steal. I don't remember last time Aguero was below 11, right? Before we do sign off, of course, I want to remind you guys about our FPL mini league. We created a mini league. We already have 40 participants. If you win our league, you stand a chance of getting your Premier League jersey of your choice for the 21-22 season. Conditions do apply, of course. You have to subscribe to our channel, like our Instagram page in order to be eligible to win this prize. If you have any more questions, please hit us up in the comment section. Don't forget to hit subscribe on our channel, turn on notifications so you know when our new videos are coming on. And we will see you in the next episode. See you guys.